My name is Casey and I run The Strange Charm, and I have run my small business for over 10 years now. I always thought having a separate building, like a she shed kind of situation for my craft business, would have been like the coolest thing ever. It would have been an excellent solution, it'd be so cute, and I could decorate it, and I would be able to keep all my stuff out there and then just close the door and walk away when I was done. But honestly, it just made things way harder than they needed to be. So as I mentioned, I've been running my small business for over 10 years now, and I did take a little break for a while to do some life stuff, but now I'm getting back to it. And 10 years is a really long time to try a trillion different things and find out what works best. So that is the approach that I am taking to it, getting back in. And especially heading into the new homeschool year, I need a situation that's going to work with me, not against me in my day-to-day life. So if you're thinking about the she shed thing, craft business shed, separate building to have your little business in, here are 5 things that I wish that I had known first. 5 reasons to not go that route. Reason number 1 is climate control, the temperature of the building. Okay, my shed is like, I think it's like 16 by 20 something, I don't know, but it has a loft. It's got nice like counter that wraps around and everything, but guess what? It's a separate building. So that means when it's cold out, it's really cold out there. When it's hot out, it's really hot. I used to make wax melts. I would be out in my studio shed pouring wax, and it was summertime and I had to have all the doors open and air it out, and it was over 100 degrees with both doors wide open in that shed. It's essentially a hot box. And being that we're on solar power, I am not going to run an air conditioner to air condition an entire separate building all day long. That kind of heat is not good for you. It does not put you in a pleasant mood, and it's definitely not good for your materials over time. So also think about your materials are in there all the time. So you would have to keep it cool and a decent temperature even when you're not working in there. And of course, don't forget about winter. Who wants to heat a whole extra building every year? Same reason. You gotta have to keep that temperature above freezing all the time. I had Windex out there one year and we got to -5, and the thing of Windex froze solid, expanded, and exploded. So think about all your supplies that you spend your money on. What is that doing to them? Okay, moving on to reason number 2. Kids and life balance. This might not apply to everyone, but it's definitely a big one for me. It's really just not practical when you have younger kids. Going back and forth constantly, it just did not work for real life. It was just not sustainable and more annoying than anything. I would have to leave the doors wide open if they were playing outside, so that way I could see them and hear them and constantly be sticking my head out and looking around and checking on them. And now, because the doors are wide open, every one of our animals is like, hey, what do you have in there? I would like to come inside. This includes chickens, ducks, the dogs, the cats. Like, I'm trying to like chase them away from the door, like, no, don't come in my building. Obviously, this was just pure chaos and not productive at all. In my current situation, where I have my studio now, which I'll get to in a second, I know exactly what they're up to because kids are not quiet. So even when I can't have a line of sight on them and they're like playing or something like that upstairs, I still know what they're doing. I'm in the same building. Reason number 3, electricity. So unless you're paying an arm and a leg for someone to come hook up electrical in this building with outlets and all this fancy stuff, which means you're also going to have to like cover wiring and blah blah blah, you're gonna have to run power to this building. And obviously crafters machines tend to take a lot of power, and I'm on solar power, so I have a pretty good idea of how much power these things actually suck up. So if you're going to have to run like a giant extension cord over to your studio shed building, that's just not safe, because things that are pulling a lot of power are now pulling a lot of power through an extension cord, and the longer it goes, the less safe it is. So trust me, it's just that's a whole nother complication to add to it. So reason number 4 is extra costs, okay? So if you go out and just have like a shed put in, you're going to have to upgrade literally everything. It's not going to have any kind of insulation. It's very likely not going to have any windows. The flooring's just going to be plain old plywood flooring. And that stuff adds up really fast. You're basically building a tiny house, and that's not cheap. So that's going to cost a lot of money on top of already purchasing the building. And reason number 5 is just daily convenience. And honestly, it's the biggest one. Having to go in and out all day sounds fine in theory, but reality is just exhausting and super inefficient, and you're just wasting a ton of your time. If it's snowing or raining, are you really gonna wanna like get dressed and put your boots on and go out to a separate freezing cold building just to pack an order? Probably not. I know, I like to do most of my crafting and stuff in my studio either late at night or super early in the morning before everyone else is awake and I have my coffee and I can just go into my studio and do my thing in my comfy pants. So those are the 5 reasons that I would not go that route, at least at first. Like, it sounds great, but there's definitely cons that nobody seems to mention that are pretty practical. So I made a change and I moved all of my stuff into my basement. It's an unfinished basement. It is not pretty and it's definitely not aesthetic or Instagram perfect, but I can walk downstairs in my pajamas, get my work done, and go up and down and do everything that I need to do throughout the day. I know where everyone's at and what they're doing, and that convenience makes it so I can get way more done with my business than having to have like this disconnected time that I have to somehow fit into my schedule to go out into the shed and just like zone in and not be bothered, which is really just unrealistic because, you know, kids, they're just gonna follow you. So double conveniences of being in the basement is that the washing machine is down here, so I won't forget about the laundry and to dry it like I usually do because I'm not down here. And our wood stove for the winter is also in the basement, so it's super cozy and I get to hang out near the wood stove, but I also get to keep an eye on the wood stove and keep putting wood in it because I'm right here seeing if it's getting low. Getting some good multitasking in, and I'm saving all that time going back and forth and dealing with all that other stuff of having a separate building. So don't get me wrong, like if I could just like bolt my studio building onto the side of my house and have it be the same regulated temperature and everything, I might do that, but that's not really an option. So the basement it is. And instead of trying to do everything in my basement to make it look like pretty and like pleasant and all that stuff, I'm upgrading it slowly. So I'm setting some goals for myself, like right now for the month of July, I'm recording this, and I have a sales goal for Etsy. And if I meet that sales goal for the month of July, I'm gonna reward myself by improving something in my studio, whether it be a new desk mat or maybe like a wall tapestry to cover up some of the lovely plywood theme I have going on down here. So that will keep me motivated to make my space like nicer and upgrade it, but also keep picking away at the things that I need to be doing that are important, like making new products and keeping up with my social media and creating systems for my small business that make me able to do bookkeeping faster and things like that. So over time, my space is going to transform into an actual aesthetically pleasing studio, but I'm forcing myself to earn it because that's just how my brain works and how I have to keep myself not wandering off on side quests. It doesn't mean I won't ever move back into my studio building, but right now it just doesn't work the way people make it seem like it's going to work out, being in a completely separate building. That does not mean that it will not work for you. This is just from my experience. So if you want to follow along and see the transformation of my basement studio, subscribe and comment what you want to see Whether it's like a full tour or how I organize everything or how I actually run my business day to day. There's so many things in small business that take you years and years to figure out, and people love to gatekeep those things. So comment below any of the questions that you have and I will make a video on them.